This podcast is part of the Frederick Podcast Network. Learn more at listenfrederick.com.
That's number one. You kind of reset your
painful, tender to the touch. May also
same shoulder length and the other.
Hello. Welcome to another episode of the Real Health Podcast with Brandi and Amir. I am Dr. Amir Rashidian, a chiropractor. Brandi Rashidian is not a chiropractor, but she is my other half and the brains. Yeah, the brains, the strategist, all of that.
I must be having a rough day. He usually says I'm the face or the beauty of it. Don't you say that? Or...
Well, you did get your hair done. It looks very nice.
Oh, you're very sweet.
That's true. So they'll tell you, probably comment.
They probably
Yes,
won't tell
hair is good. They'll be like, Amir needs a haircut, but your hair looks good.
It may be a little long, but it's good. You look nice.
Thanks.
Nice.
That's all I needed today. And Real Health Podcast is brought to you by the Frederick Podcast Network, and it can be found on listenfrederick.com.
Correct.
Also on YouTube, Spotify,
iHeart,
iTunes.
everywhere.
Where else? Anywhere. Wherever podcasts are found, you should be able to find us. Hopefully you will. And our purpose for doing the show is to bring to you latest information on the mainstream media about health and wellness, whatever new discovery there is or new controversial statements or whoever's making noise about anything health related. We like to talk about it and bring it to you and digest it for you, explain it from a non-surgical, non-drug perspective. And the hope is that what we tell you helps you feel better, get stronger, live longer, and feel younger.
I can never remember that order. I'm just going to be honest with you.
I would just feel younger.
That's
Live longer, feel younger. I think that's probably like
that's the
all
gist
we
of it.
need. Yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause
We're
if
going
you
to talk about how to
age
well.
Yeah. Well, we got stuff on fluoride. We have things on longevity and diet. We have information about exercise and how to exercise differently. We got lots of stuff. There's there's this one thing where they like to talk about Tylenol still. I don't know if we'll get to that one. And they like to mess with Donald Trump. So we can talk about the health plan with Donald Trump. There was a small article on ginger.
Ginger's
Not the
actually
lady
pretty
from
unbelievable.
Gilligan's Island.
I liked her too. But yes, different one.
Yeah, that one's it wouldn't be health related. And then the abortion one. Where do you want to start? Abortion pill?
Yeah, we can do that. But also
That's right.
we had a talk at the office
We
this
did.
week. Shout out to Dr. Cole.
Dr. Cole Talton spoke about weight loss, called it Survivor.
Yeah.
Because people who go on Survivor typically lose weight, but are they healthier?
Correct.
And then I could say the same thing about people who went on Biggest Loser. They lost weight.
We actually had one of the winners of The Biggest Loser.
The Danny Cahill.
Yep, he was. He came down when we did an event a bazillion years ago. I guess it was Naveed was turning a year old because they were here on Naveed's birthday for his birthday party. They came.
I think he was 2.
Oh,
I think he was turning 2.
was he?
I think
thought
so.
it was.
Maybe 1.
Maybe it was 2.
Either way,
You're a
it's
better
either
timekeeper.
13 or 14 years ago.
Correct.
Or 15 years ago.
Yeah.
He's about to turn 16 now.
Yes. It's forever ago. Anyway, Cole did a great job.
Yeah.
So I think some of that information may even come up as we're talking. Never
That's
know.
right.
I think it is something that's on everyone's minds as we get through the holidays. I think a lot of people have been like, oh, I really spent my whole holiday season just shoving sugar in my mouth, or, I was eating a little bit more processed food than what I usually would. It's so easy to get caught in that trap.
First they shoved sugar in their mouth, and then they shoveled snow.
Yes, I shoveled a lot of snow yesterday. But yeah, so I think
And a week ago, too.
I did. You did too. But I think it's a good thing to talk about because we're entering a season where people want to look their best because they're going to be wearing less. And for some reason, when we wear less, we care more about our figure than we do when we can throw sweaters and coats over top of it. And
Right.
but I'll tell you, the boys and I did a month of no sugar.
Yeah.
And
And then in one day, you made up for it.
no, No, well, what's funny is Ramin, the kids did no sugar too. Navid's carrying it. He's not going to stop at a month. But the boys were, they're like, "Oh, can we have sugar now?" And so Ramin went and uh got some Nutella and ate some Nutella. And he could not go to sleep that night. He was coming down. I had to give him Digize and some other things to help settle his stomach, which has ginger in it, by the way, one of
There
the
you go.
biggest things
Ginger.
in it. And his stomach was hurting. He was feeling nauseous. And then I looked, I go, you know what you just ate? It didn't start until after you ate the Nutella. And he's like, oh. I was like,
And then he
yeah,
goes, it must be expired.
it was not expired. But so it's great for them to see that.
Yeah.
It's good for kids to go without and to see how their body feels, because the reality, I needed that too. Like being off sugar and having, and I'm sure there's a little bit in some of the foods that we've had, but no cookies, no like direct things like that. And it's just amazing how different the inflammation was. Less, you feel less bloated, you feel like all of those things. Like if you're battling any kind of chronic disease process, sugar is like one of the things you should not have in your diet. It creates so much inflammation in the body, it creates joint pain, it feeds cancer cells. Like it's super dangerous. And we're talking about white sugar. We're talking about the ultra processed sugar.
Yeah.
We're not talking about honey. We're not
Yeah.
talking about, maple syrup. There are other types of sweeteners that don't do the same thing in the body. And I'm just blown away. And so it's nice for the kids to see that and experience it, because your body adapts.
Yeah.
You forget what feeling good feels like. We tell patients that all the time with chiropractic, right?
Right.
You forget what great feels like because you've done so much to your body that
Yeah.
you feel crappy all the time.
Yeah. And there's a lot of people who eat right. And, there were people in the audience last night who, I think one person said, I'm doing all the right things and I still don't lose weight.
Mm-hmm.
I go, well, there's got to be a good reason for that, because you're still human. And I promise you, if we put you on that island with Survivor,
You would lose weight.
you'll lose weight. So you really have to be thinking about that. There are some people who snack and they don't consider that a meal. They don't consider
They
that
don't even count it.
cheating, or they pick at things, they walk past the counter and there's a bowl of potato chips, they grab one. There's a bowl of Skittles, they grab one, M&Ms, they grab some. And they don't even know they did it.
Yeah, it doesn't register.
So don't forget, those things count. It's not just the meals. And the other issue is you have to understand that if systematically your nervous system is in a fight or flight state, you cannot lose weight. Your body will hold on to body fat.
Right.
That's its purpose, because it's in survival mode.
Right.
It's not going to lose fat. There's no way. And if you starve yourself, you will lose bone and muscle.
Correct.
But you'll preserve the fat.
Right.
And then when you eat again, all that food goes and becomes more fat. So now you'll have less muscle, less bone density, more body fat, and your body composition keeps getting worse. So,
and if you haven't been cautious about things like what you put onto your body and what you put into your body, and especially if there's a lot of ultra processed food, you're literally bombarding your system nonstop with chemicals, right? Like there's a very well known, we have it here in town, very well known, wonderful cookie place that everybody loves.
Mhm.
The reality is it has some chemicals in it that are
Rhymes with dumbbell.
horrific. And they're horrific. And it's the cookies look beautiful. Some people think they taste artificial. I don't know. Some of the ones I'd had in the past tasted just fine. I'm not going to lie. But when you look at what's in it and you go, I'm not just combating the sugar, right? It's not just the gluten now. And whether or not you have a gluten allergy, gluten in the United States is not good for anyone. So just to let you know, it's still bombarding your digestive tract and making those nice little fingers that are supposed to help pull all of the nutrients from the food as it's going down the digestive tract, gluten just rolls over top of it. And so those little fingers get collapsed, and it takes time for them to come back up. And so if multiple times a day you're putting this dangerous gluten down your digestive tract, they're folding, and each time it becomes harder for those little fingers to come back up and function the way they're supposed to. And so as much as you can, move away from gluten constantly throughout the day. When you can move from less refined sugars and processed foods, your body just functions better. You will begin to lose weight. If you're not losing as much as you want, then you increase your activity, because there is calories in, calories out, right? That is a part of the process. It's not everything, but if you're not losing, like checking your nervous system, making sure that you're not stuck in fight or flight so your body can produce what you need, to make sure that you're reducing your toxic load, because where do a lot of toxins get stored in the body?
Liver and fat.
Right. So they're in the fat cells, and the body wants to preserve your life. And so it's not going to release all of these toxins and allow those fat cells to dissolve, because it might be too high of a toxic load on your body. Your body may not be able to handle that. There's an innate intelligence in your body, and it's never going to do something to decrease your survival rate. So everything that's going on in your body, believe it or not, is to increase your rate of survival.
Even the autoimmune response is your body thinking it's helping you.
Yes.
By fighting something that it shouldn't be fighting.
Correct.
So and then we end up fighting against our own body.
Yeah.
When we should be working with it.
Yes. And so it's so neat. There was I know we need to jump into these articles, but there was a really great short that I sent you yesterday, and it was this doctor who
About salt?
No, this is the one about killing the cancer cells.
Oh, yeah.
And it was so cool to see someone like going, okay, his mom was 80. There's no way. The doctors are like, she's not going to survive chemo. There's really, just take her home. And he's like, ooh, you're so cute. Boop. This is what I eat for breakfast. Like, this is his thing. So he just took all of his knowledge and applied it to his mom. And they did an immunotherapy and then boosted her with whole foods and with certain supplements and all of these things. And within like 3 months, there was zero cancer in her body.
You might be able to cure most things just by doing two things: boosting the immune system and reducing inflammation.
Yes.
You may cure a whole lot of diseases,
Yes.
mainly heart disease and cancer.
So, we
But don't wait to get cancer to do those two things. Do it
like
now.
If you want to prevent cancer.
Yeah, same thing.
Nobody's going to tell you how to prevent it, right? Diagnostic is not prevention. So going and getting your mammogram every year is not going to prevent cancer. Okay. It is a screening, and that is it. And that's all I'll say. I'm not a huge fan of mammograms, but there's also a radiological issue there. But anyway, I digress. But I think that if you do those things like you're talking about, those two big things, doing just that reduces your risk. That is prevention right there. That you want to prevent it? Those are two things you can do. And guess what? It doesn't cost you anything.
Yeah. Mindset is something too, because your mind can increase or decrease inflammation.
Right. Yeah.
A big decision I made the other day, and I told you this because we're going through some tough times with regards to our new office opening, and we're hitting a lot of roadblocks and setbacks, and just obstacles that are unnecessarily stressing us out. And so I'm sitting there thinking, and I was listening to a sermon by by one of my new favorite preachers. His name is Vlad. And he sounds just like Gru on Despicable Me. I like talking to him, or listening to him is what I should say. And he's from Russia. So he said, he's talking about 8 things you should do while you're waiting, because there's going to be waiting periods.
Yeah.
And I don't remember the 8, one was, pray. Another one was, rest and, serve someone else while you're waiting. But what I got from it ultimately is you don't have a choice. You got to wait, right? So you can either wait willingly or begrudgingly. And you can either wait patiently or anxiously. Well, I've been waiting anxiously. Guess what? My body fat's going to go up when I do that.
Yeah.
So am I making anything better? I have to wait anyways.
Yeah.
There's nothing I can do right now
No.
except wait.
But when you're anxious and you're not doing it in a positive, constructive way, it impacts your health.
Yeah.
It impacts the relationships around you.
Oh, yeah.
I believe it impacts the blessings that are supposed to come to you. Everything.
It does. It does, because you basically are saying that you don't have faith that things are going to work out.
And they always
when
work
you
out.
get upset.
Like, if you really look back in life, the odds are you probably have reference points beyond what you could even
Yeah.
think of that show you that everything is going to be okay. But in stressful moments, we forget to look back at those reference points
Right.
as reminders.
That's why when someone bothers me or upsets me, my first instinct is, this person's not going to make me fat and stupid. Because those are the two things happen when you get stressed. Your neocortex shuts down, blood goes to the primitive centers of your brain, which is why you feel like fighting or running as opposed to logically thinking through something.
Right.
So someone is upsetting you, like road rage, basically they're turning you into someone who's fat and stupid. Nothing against fat. It's not an insult. I'm just telling you, you're going to increase your body fat and you're going to reduce your IQ every time you get angry and upset.
Yes.
So do your best not to.
Yes.
Anyways,
Well, that
where do you
was
want
an
to go? You
intro.
want to talk about abortion now?
I mean,
This will raise some blood pressure.
I never want to talk about abortion. It's a very sad thing for me. But, and we were talking earlier about it, and I said there's no judgment on the person. I don't prefer the action or the behavior, the choice.
Do veterinarians perform abortions?
Well, I don't know, but here's what's funny is I see
Like if
all
your
these
dog
shorts.
accidentally gets pregnant, do they take the dog to the veterinarian and say, I want to
If
abort?
you ask most people on the streets, if you hold up a picture of a animal abortion, people are horrified by it. What do you mean? You're killing unborn puppies? That's ludicrous. Yes, I'll sign something that says I'm against that. But if they go, well, now let's look at this human abortion. Oh, that's different. How we view human life in this country, in this world, but specifically in this country, is so sad to me. The value on human life is so low. I believe there's not a huge value on human life, even on born humans, let alone unborn humans. But you can't see that kind of degradation in a society on one side or the other and not expect more things to come down the pike. It's a dangerous slope. We weren't really hitting it from the moral or ethical side. This
Right.
was more about the science side of it.
So the title of the article is
The FDA's decision on the abortion pill.
The FDA decisions on abortion pill were based on science, new analysis finds. A study of more than 5,000 pages of agency documents on, how do you say that one? Mifepristone over 12 years found that agency leaders almost always followed the evidence-based recommendations of scientists.
I think that's a weird thing to
All of
say.
a sudden, science has become its own political party, which is hilarious. Where science should just be fact and just that.
But it's malleable. It depends on who's paying for the
because
study.
all scientific experiments are based on a premise. You start with a
Right.
premise,
Right.
which is why they say philosophy is more important than science.
Right.
What's your philosophical beliefs? And then you move on to what you want to prove. And you already set out what you want to prove and disprove.
Right.
So it's a yes or no thing.
Right.
Anyways, so this article reviewed a new study that examined 12 years of internal FDA documents, 2011-2023, related to the abortion pill mifepristone. The researchers found that the FDA almost always followed the evidence-based recommendation of its own scientists, even while
Can you stop
facing.
right there? Did
Mhm.
you read that? Read that one more time.
The researchers found that the FDA almost always followed the evidence-based recommendations of its own scientists, which means there are times where they don't follow their own evidence-based recommendations of their own scientists. The next part says, even while facing heavy political pressure from both pro-life and pro-choice, which means in spite of science, sometimes the FDA will follow political pressure and ignore that science.
So they are willing to ignore their own studies
And their own researchers.
and their own researchers if there's enough pressure politically from one side or the other.
You know how that pressure comes in the form of money. The analysis showed that FDA scientists repeatedly evaluated safety data, including clinical trials, adverse event reports, and long-term outcomes, and consistently reaffirmed that serious complications were rare. That's another one. Rare. Why don't we define serious complications and define rare? And does that
Correct.
mean non-serious complications were not rare?
Correct.
One notable exception occurred during the COVID-19 pandemic when FDA leadership initially rejected scientists' recommendations to allow telemedicine prescribing and mail delivery of the drug. That policy was reversed in 2021. So now someone can get on a telemedical call with a doctor and say, I'm pregnant, I want this pill, and they will send it to them without examining them, without knowing how far along they are in their pregnancy, or confirming. I mean, they'll ask them, how far are you? They'll say, oh, 10 weeks, 12 weeks.
Yes.
But they don't confirm that because it's just telemedicine.
To me, it is one of the, I don't know. I don't think something like this should ever be prescribed. How do you know that person is really pregnant? How do you know it's not an ectopic pregnancy? How do you know, like, there's so many things that are unknown, and you have not just one life at risk, you have two. Now, I understand they're trying to end one of them, but I just don't understand why this is like so easily accessible. You know what I mean? There are other things that are not easily accessible that are way safer. So why this? I think that's where you're going to get into more of the moral and ethical conversation. So,
Yeah, I didn't even know there was an abortion pill.
well, and this is different
apparently
than the
it's been
morning
around
after.
since what, decades?
Yes. So the one that they're talking about that's hard, they're both hard to pronounce, mifeprozone, something like that. I think I was very close. That particular medication actually blocks progesterone, so it actually destabilizes the uterine lining. So it makes it impossible for the pregnancy to continue.
Implantation of the zygote.
Well, no, they could have implantation because this goes up to,
Okay, so then it makes your body abort.
well, no, this one just reduces the lining, which makes it impossible for it to continue. But
so it falls off.
then they have to, depending on how far along in pregnancy you are, they may need to add another medication, which is misoprostol. I'm not pronouncing that right either. But that one causes uterine contractions so that you can actually get the baby out.
Mm.
So, but then you go, what happens if they're not really pregnant? Right? Because there are false positives and false negatives, right? You just don't know. So is it safe to be taking if you're not? Well, no. Anytime it's an endocrine system disruptor of any kind, there's a danger zone there. You run the risk of excessive bleeding, heavy bleeding, severe cramping, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, fatigue. It all sounds so nice. Those are common. Less common but serious, hemorrhage, infection, sepsis, incomplete abortion that then requires surgery. And this is in the case of a pregnancy. Some of the same symptoms, if not, if you aren't pregnant and take it. Ongoing pregnancy with birth defect risks if it fails. So there's a lot of complications, emotional distress. I think no matter what, an abortion will cause emotional distress, regardless of what medication you use. So, I guess my prayer is that more people will find places like CareNet, which is local, which will counsel them and help women come to good decisions, show them all options, not just one option. Um, I'm sure being pregnant and doing it alone is a very scary thing for women. And as a society, I think we've had challenges, even in the church, of shunning, especially young women, and we make a spectacle of it, and we just need to be bringing them in and loving on them. That would be much, much better, but we don't always do things the right way as a society or as a church. So
Yeah,
hopefully,
there's a lot of judgment behind that.
there's so much judgment. And it's because, we consider, Christians consider premarital sex a sin, but it's just an outward sin when you get pregnant outside of wedlock, right?
Yeah,
It's no different than any other sin.
right.
But it's redemptive as well if you allow it to be. So
100%. 100%. Like you said, you had a friend who had an abortion, and
yeah, one of my best friends.
another one of your friends stopped talking to her because
Yeah.
of it.
Yeah, it
And
was so sad. So literally, like the three of us, we had a great friendship, and it just got dismantled because they did not agree. I didn't agree with it either, but I
right.
will never end a friendship.
No,
So,
of course not. Of course not. In fact, that friend needs more support
mm,
now than before.
oh, for sure. For sure.
So I'm glad. I'm glad the friendship is good, and
Yes.
that there's a belief that all these babies do go to heaven.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, for sure. God loves the babies.
And there was a John Burke does all those near death experiences,
hmm
and he had talked to someone who came back from having been dead for a period of time, and he met some of the children that he had that
Oh,
hadn't been born. And when he came back, he said, actually, God allows you an opportunity to raise those kids.
oh,
So you get them as infants when you go to heaven.
man. If that's the case, what a blessing.
Yeah.
What a blessing.
That's,
the
yeah, I
goal.
mean, because you said redemption, right?
Yeah.
He is the ultimate redeemer.
Mm. You're going to
So,
bring both of us to tears.
yeah, well, I just want to make sure there's no shame and there's no
Yeah,
guilt
for sure.
for anybody who's done anything. You
Yeah.
you heard Jelly Roll talk
Ugh.
2 nights ago at the Grammys saying, I would have been dead without Jesus. He said, I was in jail.
Woo.
I was a bad person, and he redeemed me.
Mm.
And he can redeem anyone
Yeah.
in any circumstance, in any
Very
situation.
true.
Yeah, but you got to
Got me.
believe and you got to expect.
Yes.
So let's move on and talk about something a little fun.
Yeah, something a little less tear-filled,
We
although I
call,
do like red meat.
you want to talk about red meat,
Oh,
or you
what are
want
we
to talk
talking
about
about?
gentle weight training?
Oh, that sounds nice. Yeah, we can talk
What the
about
heck
that.
is gentle? What? That's the weirdest word to
You
attach to weight training.
No,
Why don't you
no.
call it lightweight
No,
versus
no.
heavyweight?
No, it's gentle. You do that on the opposite days of cozy cardio. You remember that?
I remember Cozy Cardio.
So, it's
That
just
was our third podcast.
it's really funny.
What, 2 years ago?
Yeah.
Anyways, go back and watch some of our old shows. Talked about Cozy Cardio,
Cozy cardio.
where it was basically lifting a glass to your mouth.
Sitting on the couch with a mug
Oh my goodness.
with your favorite blanket and your favorite fluffy
According
socks.
to experts who are naturally experts, are all found on TikTok.
There's a lot of experts on TikTok.
Yes. Yeah. So
A lot of new experts.
we definitely learned from them for sure.
Yes.
So, anyways, there's a revolt going on in China,
we
apparently, talking about TikTok.
Oh.
And I saw some report where Xi Jinping had a stroke or something.
Oh, I didn't see that.
They-
But I did see a lot of their big time influencers like had their accounts deleted and things like that.
Yeah.
And
But the Chinese government, and I don't know if this is true, so don't quote me on this, but I saw it on X. There was a post that was by some Chinese official that said, our comrade, the great honorable Xi Jinping had a stroke, because he uses his brain way too much.
That's going to
I
be
go,
my excuse
do,
if that ever
do the
happens.
Chinese people believe that? I mean, if they, I mean, that's not as bad as what the stuff Iran announces.
I was going to be like, yeah, and nobody in Iran believes what they're saying.
Iran said we are going to stop our calm and peaceful relations with the United States. I go, for 47 years, you all chant death to America. And now you're like, we're going to stop being nice to Americans.
We're not going to be calm anymore. I'm like, okay.
Oh, people believe this crap. So
It's true.
anyways, so don't think too hard and don't use your brain too much because you'll have a stroke like
People,
the
if you
leader
don't-
of China.
If you don't know yet, we're in the middle of a huge propaganda war, which we have been for many, many, many moons.
Oh, someone's
It's
going to
just
take that out of,
context.
take that little clip and say, oh, Dr. Amir says if you use your brain too much, you're going to have a stroke. Don't let that happen, Sean.
Just tag my propaganda comment right behind it.
Fake news, fake news.
There's so much fake news. You know, for this next one, this gentle weight training on opposite cozy cardio days, we should have like brought in Blake or Mark like in a little, we should have zoomed them in to have them weigh in
How do
on
you feel
this.
about this?
I'm going to ask him when I see him,
Okay.
and then we'll
So now
report it next.
let me tell you what it says, because you're like, if you're doing that, it's really not gentle. You're just using lighter weights. But it says this study completely flips gym culture on its head. Researchers found that lifting light weights to fatigue produces nearly the same muscle group growth and strength gains as lifting heavy weights, as long as effort is high. So if you're putting all that effort into it, I remember I was in chiropractic school and I asked one of my professors, we had these like little, we were testing something. Anyways, there was like a 1 pound weight there and there was this old fashioned scale because I went to school in the ancient days.
Yes.
And so I go, so are you telling me I can take this 1 pound weight and do curls with it and my bicep will grow? And he said, if you do enough of it, it will grow.
Right.
I'm like, but then if I'm using a 1 pound weight, I'd literally be doing it for 7.5 hours.
Correct.
Just 7 hours of nonstop.
I personally would want to do like 30 pounds and like 5 reps.
Done.
Makes more sense to me.
Seriously. So anyways, but that's what they're saying. But it says it increases your strength. Can I explain something about strength?
Please.
Do you know that there's 3 types of strength? Most people don't know this. One type is how much weight can I pick up?
Mm-hmm.
The other type of strength, or I should say stamina or endurance or whatever you could call it, is how many times can I pick up that weight, right? So if you can do it 10 times, another person can do it 5 times, you're stronger than that person.
Mm-hmm.
Even though you both picked up the same amount of weight, but you could pick it up 10 times, the other one could only pick it up 5 times. So you're twice as strong. But then there's a third type of strength that says once I pick up this weight, how long can I hold it up? Right? So your postural muscles need to be trained that way, because your postural muscles pick you up in the morning when you get out of bed and they hold you up all day. So they have to be trained that way. So if you're training postural muscles, you want to improve your posture and you're doing repetitions, you're not going to get anywhere. You need to do holds where you squeeze and hold, full contraction, maximum contraction, under load and hold for a period of time, 10, 20, 30, 40 seconds, a minute. So that you want to stabilize your core. Planks and bridges, things like that are much better than repetitions like crunches and leg raises. Anyways, that's my little thing on strength. So this article, Washington Post, not exactly a scientific journal, it just says it'll have the same muscle growth and strength gains as lifting heavy weights.
There's so much that's
so
missing.
many parameters. Like, what kind of strength are you increasing? All you're doing is so if I only ever lift 10 pounds per hand, is that going to make me better at lifting 100 pounds down the road? I don't think it does.
I don't think so either.
Because it's not just about the muscles. Literally, do you know why the best power lifters are older. Like you won't see an amazing power lifter as a teenager or in their early 20s
Because they got to develop that.
because it's not just the muscle that needs to be strong. Bones need to get strong. Bone strength increases slower than muscle strength.
I can see that.
And so if you're doing powerlifting, like these guys are squatting 1,000 pounds on their back, your bones have to be stable to hold that. Your joints have to be stable. It's not just the muscles. And so that takes a long time. It takes a decade, maybe longer, to get the bones in shape for the muscles to be strong enough to be able to pick that up and hold it and not break under that load. So what kind of strength are they talking about? Are they talking about bone strength? I seriously doubt light weights, high repetitions, lifting something for hours is going to increase bone strength. So they're not talking about what parameters they measured. It says, in other words, it's not the weight that matters. It's pushing your muscles close to failure. The participants trained for 10 weeks, and the arm using lighter weights grew just as strong and muscular as the arm using heavy loads.
Oh, well, then they just screwed that whole thing.
They have no idea how neurology works. This challenges the macho idea that you have to lift heavy to get results. Let me tell you.
It just challenges the idea that you don't know how the body works.
Can I call them idiots?
Yes. I don't know. Sean, can we?
Is that politically incorrect?
Yes, I think so. Everything's politically.
Because there's science. Well, your science is flawed because you don't understand neurologic crossover. Because, listen, I can literally tie one hand behind my back and never use that arm. Never use it. Every time I go to the gym, only train this arm. And this arm will grow and get stronger just by using the other arm.
Yep.
That's a fact. It's called neurologic crossover because the brain doesn't want asymmetric bodies. That's
what
why.
Percentage is it? Because it's a specific percentage.
I think it's around 35%.
Yeah.
So if I grow in strength by 10 pounds in this arm will grow by 3.5 pounds of strength, even though I never used it. I didn't touch a single weight. So that they're still using it, just using lighter weights. How do you know if that's what it was?
Correct.
It doesn't make any sense.
No.
Now, take someone who's used to lifting heavy weights, right? And for a year, say only use light weights.
Correct.
I bet you they'll lose all the muscle they had.
I think they will too.
They'll shrink and their strength will go down. And then the weights they used to be able to lift, they won't be able to lift anymore. This is absolutely ridiculous. Now, if you're a newbie and you think you have to lift up heavy weights to get stronger, that's wrong. You don't have to. Use nice light weights, squeeze the muscle, use really good form, protect your joints.
And then when you get up to and you don't want to do 20 reps of that weight because it's too easy, then bump up by 2.5 to 5 pounds.
Yeah.
And then start over. Like that really is.
Right.
And that light weight, and when you're doing small increments,
There is 100 years of research on why progressive overload is the best way to add muscle and strength. And this isn't it. So I 100% disagree with everything you're saying. Unless you're a newbie, you've never lifted weights, and you're just starting out, lift light weights. Don't do anything less than 12 repetitions. If you can't do it 12 times, it's too heavy for you. Lighten the weight, get your 12th rep in, and never burn out on every set. One of the biggest things, this guy's walking with a suit jacket and swim shorts and no shirt.
And no shoes. That's impressive.
I think he just came out of the pool, put a suit jacket on, and walked outside. Sorry, guys.
He just came out of the pool. Okay, that was fun.
Oh, wow. You see all kinds of things here. You're lucky we didn't turn the camera around, but I definitely got distracted. We're right across from a gym. So we're seeing people come out of a gym after a workout, and this is the first in years that... Anyways, back to this. Ignore all that. So
here's what I think this article can do for people. For new people, it says, it's kind of like stop overthinking it, just move your body, right? So if you're new to fitness, then kind of the overarching idea is fine, right?
Yeah.
Is like get in, move. You don't have to do super heavy weights. You don't have to overcomplicate it. Get in and just start moving. For a beginner, that is that's fine, right? I'm not endorsing cozy cardio. I don't think you're going to get anything from that, but maybe some mental or emotional, like, reprieve. But just getting into the gym for some people is tough. So finding a place that you feel comfortable that you can go in and you can begin to do something, I think is super important. But if you want to make um, strides in your physique, if it's not just about strength, but you want to change how your body really looks, then you are going to have to get into some complexities and figure out how because every body is a little bit
And
different
you
too.
have to get uncomfortable
Very uncomfortable.
because the body doesn't change in comfort.
Mm-mm.
But it does, but it changes for the worse, not for the better.
Right. Ugh.
All right. Should we move on? One of the biggest things that made a difference in my physique was I stopped doing that last repetition that you have to struggle.
Mm.
I stop, put the weight down now. When I do a rep, let's say bench press, and I press and I get the weight up and I have a doubt, I don't know if I can get another rep with perfect form, I'm done.
Mm.
And so my nervous system doesn't get exhausted. Stress level doesn't shoot up because when stress goes up, you break down muscle much faster than you can rebuild it.
Yeah.
And that was one of those transformational moments. You want to talk about fluoride or do you want to talk about red meat? Is there such a thing as blue meat?
I hope not.
Purple meat? Brown meat?
Yeah.
I don't know.
We have time for maybe one short.
Fluoride?
Okay.
All right. So this was in New York Times, fluoride not linked to low birth weight. This massive study analyzed over 11 million births across decades and found no association between water fluoridation and low birth weight or premature birth, two major markers of infant health. The researchers compared counties before and after fluoridation and even against non-fluoridated areas. No matter how they sliced the data, the results stayed the same. Fluoride did not negatively affect birth weight.
I do not think that they could even possibly get this data from the study that they did. I think it's absolutely absurd.
But then why? So maybe this toxic substance in your water doesn't affect birth weight, but are we telling me it's not affecting other things? Is birth weight the only indicator of health in an infant?
Well, I can tell you that anything that's if a tanker spills fluoride on the cement and people have to get in hazmat suits to clean it up, there's nothing positive that's ever going to come out of it that's going to make it worthwhile for me to put into our bodies at all.
Says while RFK Jr. and others argue fluoride is neurotoxic, this study didn't even touch IQ, the real battlefield. So we're more worried about IQ, not birth weight. Why aren't they studying the real factors? Do you know like high birth weight is healthier than really low birth weight?
Right.
Like babies that are born over 9 pounds have more health issues growing up than babies that are born under 6 pounds.
Right. Well, and there's so much that can go into birth weight, right? Like mom's stress level during pregnancy, of course, what she's eating, what she's taking in. Like there's so many environmental factors and physiological factors that I just don't even know how they're trying to isolate this.
Yeah.
And like you said, low birth weight is not the biggest issue.
I couldn't care less about birth weight when it comes to fluoride. I would worry about whether their brain can work.
Right.
They didn't study the brain.
No. But
and they probably never will because they're worried about what they'll find.
Well, and especially in an instance where you have a very big segment of the medical industry, dental, right? Where this is a product that was pushed by certain agencies and whatnot into the medical field, how it was produced, what it comes from. Like there's all these things that was adopted in. it's one of those dirty things, right? That somebody figured out how to get an entire group of people to accept this and then make it something that the vast majority of the public was going to be subjected to unknowingly. So I have issues with this because everybody pretends that there's no issues with fluoride, and very clearly there are issues with fluoride. And why we think we should be putting it in people that are still developing,
Yeah.
I have no idea. We know that our city waters, municipal waters, there's so much in it, not just fluoride, but pharmaceuticals. Like it is atrocious what is in our water sources, and they're not being cleaned the way they need to be cleaned. Don't love it.
There you go. I still say avoid fluoride as much as you can.
100%.
But there you have it. We didn't talk about Ginger or Marianne or Gilligan, or we had the
It's not
professor.
that kind of podcast, sir.
Was it who? And then what were the wealthy people's names? You had the skipper,
Uh-huh.
right? You had Gilligan. You had Ginger and Marianne, and the professor. And then there was the husband and wife that were wealthy.
Okay, if you think of their name, put it in the comments.
Yeah. We'll
Can't remember.
yeah, maybe we'll I'm gonna YouTube it right now and play the theme song to Gilligan's Island.
It's in my head now.
Anyways, we didn't talk about Ginger, but not the person in Gilligan's Island, the root and the plant, the herb that is very powerful. So at some point we may touch on that, but we're gonna have lots of other stuff to talk about.
The howls.
The howls. Got it.
Thurston and Lovely.
Thurston Howell the Third.
And Lovely.
And what?
Lovely was her
Lovely
name.
was the wife's name? I did not know that.
Eunice Lovely Howell. She
All
went by
right. You
Lovely.
realize most of the people listening, because I know our demographic, most of the people listening have no idea what Gilligan's Island is.
Well, you're welcome. And while you're looking that up, you can also look for Fantasy Island.
The plane. Is that one?
Boss. The plane, boss.
Very
All right.
politically incorrect there too. Fantasy Island? Is that what it was called?
I think so.
Love Boat. What about the Love Boat?
Oh, that was a great one,
It's
too.
another one. Yeah, Gilligan's Island, Love Boat. All right, guys, we need to get going. We'll go on forever and get nowhere.
Sean's like, I don't know any of these shows. All right.
Thank you for joining us. Please join us again. And if you like what we do, support us by sharing, subscribing, and whatever else you'd like
Let
to
us
do.
know what you want to hear about, too.
Yeah, we'd
If
love,
there's topics you want us to cover,
love to
then
hear about you. We still have to do your interview.
I know. I was trying to do my biography with Ramin yesterday, and I just can't do it without getting a little teary-eyed, and it's a hard. So I'm gonna try, but it's
Sean
challenging.
can edit tears out.
Okay. Sean's looking like he may not be able to.
He
do
gave
that.
us a face.
He's not so sure.
Never mind. He may not be able to edit tears out.
All right. Till
Take
next
care.
time.
All right. Bye-bye.
Live radio, local podcasts, the Frederick Podcast Network at listenfrederick.com.